What's going on, guys? JSGC here, back again with another Manchester City live stream, where today we're going to be doing the live stream watch along of Manchester City's home game against Salford City in the FA Cup fourth round. A chance here for Man City to continue their progress in the most prestigious historic domestic cup competition in the world, and a chance for us to try and make amends for last season, where Man City reached the final and ended up losing to Crystal Palace at Wembley, and City looking to go one step further this season and try and win the FA Cup. And to do so, we've got to go through Salford City at the Etihad Stadium again, just like we did last season, with City winning that game at the Etihad Stadium in the third round by 8-0. Now, to put into context that game, Man City last season were facing Salford City. They were competing near the top of the League Two table, but with Manchester City handing out a huge hiding to Salford City, their season just kind of stalled and never really got going. And because of it, Salford never managed to secure promotion to League One. So right now they remain a League Two side, and they're pretty much where they were last season, sitting in a playoff spot. What they don't want to happen here is be on the receiving end of the hiding again, and their season ends up just going downhill, and they end up not making the playoffs and not potentially securing promotion to League One. So that's something that I think that Salford City manager Karl Robinson really needs to think about heading into today's game. And Salford, way too open last season. City found it all too easy to be able to break them down, and with Man City scoring early goals in the game, Man City managed to build upon that and managed to accumulate a very big win. And it's something that we saw from City this season in the FA Cup third round in our match against Exeter City at the Etihad Stadium. They're a League One side in the division above where we find Salford City. So if Man City can get off to a quick start with the strength of the team that they put out, then Man City could be not only looking towards a win, but looking to try and win big here. And it would be a big confidence boost for a lot of the players who don't get a lot of minutes to be able to say to Pep Guardiola, look, we've got Newcastle coming up, we've got Champions League games coming up, we've got the League Cup final next month coming up. We want to be getting minutes, we want to be getting starts, and to do so, you've got to impress. So I'm excited to see how Man City perform today in this game, and I'm hoping that it's going to be Man City heading through to the fifth round of the FA Cup, which is just one round before we hit the quarterfinals, and it gets to the really serious stage of the competition. And obviously, this being the most prestigious historic cup competition in the world, then you know we're dealing here with something that is taken very seriously. Games taking place on Saturdays and weekends rather than taking place midweek like you have with the League Cup. So the FA Cup, for me, in terms of the two major domestic honours that you've got, the League Cup and the FA Cup always seems to take priority for a lot of teams. So Man City will be taking it very seriously, and a lot of other teams will be taking it very seriously as well. And for me, magic of the cup always offers potential cup upsets. So Macclesfield beat Crystal Palace, current holders of the competition, in the third round, and I'm wondering what surprises are we going to see today. And I'm hoping that City aren't going to be one of them teams that end up being surprised and end up going out today, because I think the last thing we need ahead of trying to have a big push in the Premier League and try and win the League Cup and try and go far in the Champions League, the last thing we need is a demoralising loss against a League Two side. And for you guys who are unaware of what League Two is and where League Two is, League Two is the fourth division of English football. So the Premier League's the first division of English football. You drop below there, you've got three divisions of the English Football League, starting off at the very top, which is the Championship, which is the division below the Premier League. That's the second division. And then into League One becomes the third division, and League Two is the fourth division, and that's where you find Salford City today. Still a professional football side, still going to look to try and give Man City a game. They do need to be much tighter than they were last season. So will they be able to do so? We'll have to wait and see. So before we do speak about this game, the teams and the other FA Cup games that's going to be taking place both today and obviously looking towards tomorrow, and I think there's a game on Monday, I think the draw's on Monday, and you've also had games last night as well. We'll speak all about the FA Cup in just one moment. I just wanted to say welcome everybody for tuning in. It is much appreciated. Shout out Connor, thank you for tuning in. Much appreciated. Going with a comfortable 7-0 victory today for Man City. I'll take 7-0. Nicholas, thank you very much for tuning in. Love from Granada. Said should come and visit during our carnival season in August. I bet it's hot in Granada in the Caribbean in August, but I'm sure that's a tremendous atmosphere going on in Granada. And I've never been to the Caribbean, funnily enough. I've been obviously west of Europe and west of UK to head over to North America, but never gone to the Caribbean. Yeah, definitely on the list to get to some Caribbean islands. I like my rum, so I think that would definitely suit me. So welcome, Nick, for tuning in. Much appreciated. Connor says, where is the very nice Pan? I presume Man City just don't regard him as being good enough right now to be making the first team squad. You'd have thought that he would have at least been on the bench for today's game, but yeah. Here we are. Jessica, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Says, glad to see John Stones back. Me too. I'm happy for Man City to be getting reinforcements back and players back from injury. It's going to be a big push towards the end of the season. We're going to need our depth. We're going to need our quality. And having someone like John Stones back, even if it means just limiting John Stones to playing once every week or once every 2 weeks, he could be a useful asset for Man City, because John Stones, for me, is a high-quality player. The only problem I have with John Stones is he doesn't keep himself fit. If he keeps himself fit, he's a tremendous player. One of, if not the best centre-back Man City have when fully fit. The problem is, he just doesn't ever seem to be fully fit. So I'm happy to see him back. Connor's happy to see him back. Jessica's happy to see him back. Hopefully he can put in a good game here. Connor, I agree, would have been great to have seen McAdoo starting in this game. He was brilliant against Exeter, and I thought he would have started here today, but here we are. Ibrahim, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Much appreciated, John. We're all disappointed he's not in the squad. Obviously, Man City regard him as not being good enough right now to make the Man City squad. He struggled a little bit on his loan at Middlesbrough, and I'm surprised Man City, if they're not going to include him in the squad for, games against League Two side in the FA Cup, like Salford City today, then you're going to think that Severino Pan's not going to be making any of Man City's squads from now till the end of the season. So he's going to be a player around the academy, which I think is disappointing, because we've recalled him from his loan at Middlesbrough. Why not find him another loan for a team who's going to give him some regular minutes, even if that means a team that's sitting in the bottom half of the Championship? Heck, even going to League One in the third division of English football, get him some experience, give him a test, let him showcase what he can do. The fact that he's been recalled, he's going to spend all his time around the academy. What's he going to learn from playing against boys? He needs to be playing against men in the men's game, as far as I'm concerned. So, boom, mind blown, because not too sure. Welcome, Horace as well, much appreciated, tuning in from Granada as well. Connor, welcome, thank you for tuning in. He says, if McArthur didn't leave Manchester City on loan on transfer deadline day to sign for Leicester City, he'd have thought that McArthur, he would have probably started this game. I'm pretty certain of that one, in my opinion. So, don't forget as well, do leave a thumbs up. We're aiming for 100 likes. We're now nearly a fifth of our way there. We've got 82 likes to go, guys. So, any help towards that would be much appreciated. Do get your thoughts in the comments below. Comments below in the live chat, where you're tuning in from today and what your score prediction is ahead of today's game. Do get your vote in on the poll. Who do you think's going through today? Do you think it's going to be Man City, or do you think it's going to be Salford City? 96% going with a Manchester City victory and going through today. Salford City, 4% think Salford City going to pull off one of the biggest FA Cup fourth round shocks of all time. Connor going with a Marmoush hat-trick for today's game, and I've got a feeling Man City may be scoring some goals as well. Corey, welcome. Thanks for tuning in, going for a 4-0 Man City win. I'm going to be nice and optimistic today as well. Jean going with a 4-0 Manchester City win. Nice to see a lot of optimism out there. Also, guys, don't forget to subscribe if you're new around here. It is free to subscribe. Going to keep you guys up to date with all the latest City content here on YouTube. And also, don't forget social media links you can find in the description or on the yellow banner if you want to go and follow me on my X, Instagram, and TikTok. So, before we're going to have a look at today's game, I can see that we do have a game taking place already, taking place in the Midlands, north of Birmingham, in Burton Albion taking on West Ham United. Currently, League One side Burton Albion 0, West Ham United 1. That game has gone to extra time. Burton looking to try and put pressure onto West Ham to find an equaliser. It's Somerville that scored a 95th minute goal in extra time for West Ham United, and they've been given a bit of a scare there in front of 6,500 fans in Burton. Also got games taking place today in well, up and down the country, but in the FA Cup as well. You've got games taking place at 3 p.m. Burnley taking on Mansfield Town, Manchester City taking on Salford City, Norwich City taking on West Bromwich Albion, Southampton taking on Leicester City. Leicester City 3-0 up against Southampton last week, and they blew it and they lost 4-3. 4 second-half goals conceded. It was John Macken-esque towards the end there in that game last week, as Southampton managed to come from 3 goals down in the second half to win the game by 4-3. Of course, me making reference there to Man City's superb comeback against Tottenham Hotspur. I think it was back in 2004 when John Macken scored the winner. We were 3-0 down at half-time. Joey Barton had been sent off that day down to 10 men, and we managed to come back and win that game. You've also got Aston Villa taking on Newcastle United at 5:45 p.m. GMT, and you've got Liverpool taking on Brighton and Hove Albion tonight at 8 p.m. at Anfield. Now, we have had games yesterday in the FA Cup 4th round. Hull City 0, Chelsea 4, Chelsea through to the 5th round of the FA Cup. Wrexham also won at home against Ipswich Town by 1-0. They head through to the 5th round of the FA Cup. Plenty of games taking place tomorrow as well. Birmingham City, a tasty game at St Andrews, taking on Leeds United at midday GMT. Interesting one on the East Coast. Grimsby Town taking on Wolverhampton Wanderers at 1:30 p.m. GMT. You've got an interesting game taking place in Oxford. Oxford United taking on Sunderland at 2 p.m. and you got Stoke City taking on Fulham at 2 p.m. as well. Some interesting games there, all with lower league sides facing Premier League sides at home. So some proper banana skin games there. And at 4:30 p.m. GMT at the Emirates Stadium, you've got Arsenal taking on the 2013 FA Cup champions who beat Man City in the final that day, Wigan Athletic, in what you would think would be a routine win for Arsenal, but with Wigan Athletic, you just never know. And then on Monday night, just before the FA Cup draw for the 5th round, Macclesfield Town, conquerors of Crystal Palace, have got another Premier League side heading to Macclesfield, 7:30 p.m. at GMT kickoff time, that one. Macclesfield taking on Brentford. Wouldn't want to be Brentford taking on Macclesfield there on that artificial pitch, and that will take us into the 5th round of the FA Cup. Connor going with a 7-0 victory today for Manchester City. I'd take a 7-0 victory for Manchester City today as well. We won 8-0 against Salford. I'm not saying it's going to be 8-0 Man City today. Keema thinks we're going to go one better and go 9-0 Manchester City. But I've got a feeling that Salford are going to look to try and keep it a bit tighter. So I don't think there's going to be as many goals. I can see maybe City scoring 4 or 5 goals rather than scoring 8 or 9. It'd be nice to score 8 or 9, but we'll see. Dan Van Welcome, thank you for tuning in. Much appreciated. Dave, good afternoon to you. Says, been a great weekend for me. Went to see the Wire beat St Helens last night. Hope you thrash Salford 8-0. I do hope so, and hope you enjoyed yourself at the rugby game yesterday. Peter, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Says, I'm at the game at the Etihad. Come on, enjoy yourself at the Etihad and do have a fantastic time there, and hopefully making a lot of noise and cheering on the boys to head through to the 5th round of the FA Cup. Dan Van, we all hate that McAdoo's not in the squad and not featuring for Man City today. He was one of the standout players against Exeter City. That was against the League One side. We're against an even lower league team today in Salford. McAdoo, for me, I don't know if he's not fit or not, but if he is fit, definitely should have been starting in this game. Keema going 9-0. I can't see it, but we did put 10 past Exeter, so you never know. You do never know. Jessica says, not City related, but impressed with how well Wrexham is doing to keep themselves in the FA Cup, having a great season. I think currently sitting in a playoff spot in the Championship, as obviously Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhaney doing a brilliant job at Wrexham, and you imagine in the next maybe couple of years or so, won't be surprised to see them be a Premier League side. Wrexham through to the 5th round, and if Man City go through today, which hopefully, fingers crossed they will, then City could face Wrexham in the next round. Jean says, does Peter Lim still co-own Salford, or is it only former United players now? I'm fairly sure I read something about him selling all of his shares in Salford. The key word there is selling. I don't know if he has already sold them or not. Maybe someone who's more clued in on it might be able to point us towards the direction of what the fact is there. But he was definitely in discussions to sell all of his shares there at Salford City, and it's not really worked out. Is it the Peninsula ground where they play at has caused some bother. The ground's very small. They struggled to get the fans in. And I think they were just kind of riding on the back of the Glazer out campaign going on at Manchester United to pull fans in, but they're not exactly in a pristine location sitting in, well, pretty much in North Manchester, sitting between where you'd find places like Bury and Whitefield, and you head straight down the road, will take you towards past Strangeways into Manchester City Centre, and it's just kind of like tucked away in a housing estate in the middle of nowhere. It's not close to Bury, it's not close to Whitefield, it's not really that close to Manchester City Centre. It's just kind of in no man's land of residential outskirts of Manchester, and location doesn't make a lot of sense, and Salford's a very big area, so they have looked at trying to relocate. They were trying to move into where the rugby league ground is near the Trafford Centre as a potential appeal with a bigger stadium, a nicer looking stadium, but it's not really materialised, and the big buzz that they had rising through non-league and getting into the Football League, they just not really held their own, and I don't know, just the whole thing's just kind of stalled. I mean, they've done very well to be able to establish themselves as a League Two side, because it's not easy working your way up the English pyramid and establishing yourself as a League Two side. They've done a very good job of that, and they're a good League Two side. They potentially could become a League One side, but I don't know. All a bit odd as far as I am concerned. Connor, it'd be fantastic if Macclesfield were to do a job on Brentford as well, and I'm not ruling that one out. FSG going with a 4-1 Man City win, and I don't think I'm going to be too far away from that 4-1 Man City win. GT, he's on the wind-up. He's going to go for a Salford win. I hope not. I really do hope not. Manchester City, thank you for tuning in as well. Game not been broadcast live in the UK, so if you wanted to watch, you are going to have to watch on the streams, unfortunately, because it's in the 3 p.m. blackout, so it's not available. It is being broadcast internationally, so it shouldn't be too difficult to be able to find a stream for this game. There you go. Jessica says US. It's been broadcast on ESPN, so normally when it's not been broadcast live in the UK, I'll either come across a stream that's from the US, South Africa, or Australia are the three go-tos normally where I manage to get a stream for the game and be able to do a live watch along, which is what we're going to be doing for today's game as well. Tito happy with the young back line, trying something new today, and all about getting some fresh legs and rotation for Manchester City ahead of what's going to be nice. I've heard the players are going to have a couple of days, 2-3 days off they're going to be having before we end up getting back to training, back to business ahead of Newcastle at home next week, and then it's a luxury of another week off before Man City play again. So you know, the hard work that we put into get into the top 8 of the Champions League, you get the honour of having a little break through the rest of February, which is fantastic. So hopefully now Man City will be nice and fresh, raring to go, get the job done today, and then we can look to the break and see what happens during this break in terms of the Champions League playoff games. Sit back, relax, and enjoy us more of a neutral, and also see if we can get a favour off Wolves in their home game against Arsenal midweek, which I'm not banking on, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Dave, I will be far behind. A minute, maybe 2 minutes behind real time. I will remind people, please don't spoil it for me and others that are watching, having to rely on the streams. Please don't start spoiling the game, saying this is happening and that is happening. It does spoil it for me and being able to give my authentic reaction. So I do put the clock up so you can see exactly where I'm up to in the game. And if you're watching, you can just pause your stream and get it up to where I'm up to. Or if you want to get ahead and wait for my reaction, I'd just appreciate not putting it in the chat. That would be much appreciated. Dan Van, the blackout is a ruling that they have in the UK that stood for a very long time, which is when it comes to traditional Saturday 3 p.m. games in England, them games cannot be broadcast live on television to encourage fans to go to the stadiums to support their teams. And you know, it's 2026 now. I feel like if people want to go to a football match, they'll go to a football match. If they don't want to go, they're just going to end up watching it illegally. And surely it'd make more sense here to legalise it and have one of the broadcasting companies pick up these 3 p.m. games. They're starting to be a little more lenient in the English Football League, having iFollow, so you can watch it online. You pay a subscription to be able to watch Football League games. They've started to make more games in the Football League, early kickoffs and late kickoffs and different day kickoffs to get around the blackout. And it causes a big problem because you get early kickoffs and you get late kickoffs and you get Friday night games, Monday night games. It's not easy for the match-going fan. It'd just be easier to just say, we'll stick to games being on a Saturday and a Sunday and traditionally play them across Saturday afternoon when people are readily available to be able to go to games. So I get why it's there for like the lower leagues and the Football League, but when we're looking here at FA Cup 4th round and you're looking at Premier League games, I'd probably put the Championship. I'd probably put League 1 and League 2 in there as well. If people want to go to the games, they'll go to the games. If they don't want to go to the games, they won't go to the games. They'll just find another way of either listening or watching. So it doesn't really make sense when, so many other countries have got access to loads of Premier League games and FA Cup games, and here in the UK, we don't have access to games that are happening on our doorstep, which, wild. Anyway, that's the blackout. Thank you very much, Chad, for your $2 donation. Much appreciated. Big shout out to you, helping to support the future content created here on my channel. Says, let's get this dub today, boys. I've got a feeling we are going to get that dub. But Chad, welcome. Thank you very much for the $2 donation. It is much appreciated. Right, speaking of the streams, I need to head to the streams and find myself a stream to watch today's game. So we'll just very quickly go through the team lineups. We'll start off first with our opponents, Salford City of League 2. They're lining up today, led by manager Karl Robinson with a traditional 3-1-4-2 formation. He loves his 3-5-2s or 3-4-1-2, whichever way you want to look at it. But it's Matty Young starting in goal, who City were linked with making a move for back in last January. It's Orr, Dorrington and Garbutt starting as their back three. Osterfield moves into midfield. Longello starts on the right-hand side. Cooper on the left-hand side. And Grant and Woodburn, former Liverpool youngster, starting in midfield with strikers and May and Graydon starting up top. Traditional from Salford, nothing surprising. On the bench for them, you've got Ashley, Turton, Stockton, Barini, Butcher, Udoa, Abertaharman, Siri and Howard. For Manchester City, lining up today with a 4-2-3-1 formation. James Trafford, no surprise, starts in goal for City today. A back four made up of Abdukodir Khusanov on the right-hand side and some rest for Matheus Nunes. Rayan Ait-Nouri given the nod once more, playing on the left-hand side, with John Stones making his return along with Max Elaine at centre-back and some rest, obviously, for Marc Guehi, who is eligible to play in this game but doesn't start today. And obviously some rest for Ruben Dias as well. Into midfield, you've got a midfield three made up of Rico Lewis and Nico Gonzalez. I presume Rico Lewis is going to push further forward to try and create for Tijjani Reijnders playing at the top of midfield. Phil Foden looks like he's going on one side, Rayan Cherki going on the other, and striker Omar Marmoush. On the bench for Man City today, you've got Ruben Dias, Marc Guehi, Rodri, Gianluigi Donnarumma, Matheus Nunes, Nico O'Reilly, Antoine Semenyo, Tyrone Samba potentially could make his Man City debut today, and Ryan McAdoo, who could get a reward for his fine performance against Exeter City by potentially getting some minutes at some point in this game. I would have started him if I'm being completely honest. They were very impressive when he started against Exeter. They play in a league above Salford, so it's a division below even them. We scored 10 goals. He was creating and very impressive. I felt like he should have been given a go here in today's game and started, but here we are. Bernardo Silva and Erling Haaland both expected to feature against Newcastle. Probably going to start that game. Rested today. Both got knocked, but both will be available for that game. My score prediction, I'm going to go 5-0 Manchester City. Jean says if City lose it today, then there's going to be something wrong with Pep. I can't see it happening. Jessica, I reckon it's going to be Rico Lewis going into midfield rather than playing at right back. I think it's going to end up being Abdukodir Khusanov starting on the right-hand side. Adam, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Going with a 9-0 victory today for Manchester City, which I would be very happy with. Sneaker, I'm not able to share streams, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would let you know where I was watching it from, but I can't do that, I am afraid. So I'm going to head to the streams and we're going to watch today's game. Let's find the stream. Right, we're just about to hit 3 p.m. Hopefully the first link will work. This is where we get the first problems of these streams. They do tend to be quite fun streams, though, so here we are. Right, Manchester City. Hopefully this one will work. And it does work, which is good news. Right, John Stones, captain for Manchester City today, as we get a rendition of Blue Moon playing out loud. Chad says, is the FA Cup still important? Of course it's still important. It's the most prestigious domestic cup competition in the world. It's a very important trophy. I think more teams should be taking it seriously, as far as I'm concerned. There's no doubt that Pep takes things seriously in winning major trophies. And he'll take this one seriously as well, as my stream's just stopped working. So we'll just give that a quick refresh. Hopefully that does the trick. And we'll be good to go for this game. Marvellous. We drop the stream. We have it back. There we go. Oh. Right. We're ready and wait. Is the stream start working again? This isn't going to be one of them days, I hope. I hope this isn't going to be one of them days, guys. That's twice now that it stopped working. Twice! Never a good sign. We might have to go to stream 2 here. Never a good sign. Right, we have had kickoff. I'll just catch the clock up so you guys can see where I'm up to. Let's see. We're on 49. There we go. That's a ish in sync. Sorted. Blackout date. Yeah, they are outdated. But here we are. It needs looking at as far as I'm concerned. I started making more Football League games, early kickoffs to try and get round it, which it was mind-blowing to me. Mind-blowing because it doesn't suit fans being able to go making games early kickoffs on Saturdays. Ridiculous away games, teams from the north having to travel 200-300 miles to go south to watch a football game. It's easier to do for a Saturday afternoon than it is being able to do it, at 12:30 rather than at 3 o'clock. There's a big difference, 2.5 hours difference, of course. So frustrating, very frustrating. Right, Marmoush seems to be limping, as pointed out there by Opta. Thanks very much for tuning in, and Danvan as well. It's not the best of starts, is it? Not the best of starts. Jean says City getting more sponsors. Yeah, BYD, the car company. Revolut going on the back of the Man City shirts as well. Salford attacking from right to left, playing in all white. Manchester City attacking from left to right, playing in their sky blue shirts, white shorts and sky blue socks. As I think Max Alain's gone on the right-hand side, playing right back at the minute. He's just gone down. Referee's already got a yellow card out. Salford looking to try and make this a more physical battle. So why City have done so much rotation. Salford have thought to themselves, you know what, try and keep this nice and tight. We're going to get more physical. We're going to go in, making more sliding challenges and things like that. So, yeah, Adam, no beer today, I'm afraid. We're on a fruit shoot. No added sugar. So, it's boring, isn't it? Right, 3 minutes in. Here's City then, attacking on the left-hand side. A chance to maybe get a ball into the box. City just knocking it around. Not found a way to get a ball into the box just yet. Try to thread a pass through, but will be intercepted. Chad, I imagine it will be their plan. Try and be a bit more physical. They conceded very early. last year when we played them, and Man City ended up putting 8 past them once you'd taken their game plan out. And I think that's, what's special about these knockout games. No replays. You've got your game plan. You've got to stick to your game plan. And once you've broken open that game plan, teams have got to come out to play. So if City score first and score early, Salford's game plan's got to change. They've got to come out and they've got to play. And if they can't, then they're going to go out. So it ends up meaning Man City can get more space and can make things happen and score more goals. So interesting if this, they keep it to 0 Salford by half time. Imagine Man City might get a bit anxious. So, as I said, I don't think it's going to be 8 this year. I think Salford will have learnt a lesson from last year to try and be more tight. I think Man City will have too much quality. They'll break open Salford at some point, and if they do, bump, we're on a good one, and hopefully we can go on and score some more goals and go through without any problems. Julius had just finished watching the end of the boring West Ham game. Did it finish 1-0 West Ham in the end? Looks offside there with that ball played forward. Flag stayed down, though, on Tijjani Reijnders. John, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Jessica enjoying a coffee in the morning. And why not? Another chance. Can they put a ball across? They can. Oh, it's gone in. I think it's Ait-Nouri, Rayan Ait-Nouri. I think that might be his first goal for Manchester City. Don't think it's taken any deflection on the ball way in there from City. And same from last year's game. Man City want to try and grab an opening goal, change up Salford's game plan, and they've managed to do so with scoring an early goal. Looks onside. It's an own goal. Takes a big deflection on the way in. I don't think this was going in from Rayan Ait-Nouri. Breaks it open. I wondered if Marmoush had got a flick on it. I don't think he has. I think it's just taken a slight deflection off one of the defender's shins. It does. Takes a big deflection and into the back of the net. I don't think that'll go down as Ait-Nouri's first goal for Manchester City. It won't, because it's not a shot that's on target. Takes a deflection and into the back of the net. 1-0 Manchester City. There we go. Right. I said Salford need to learn the lessons. The next important lesson is they can't really afford to come out to play just yet. Because if they do, City will make it 2 and it'll be job done. Bowen didn't play. Somerville managed to grab the only goal of the game. Finished 1-0. There we go. Thank you very much, Julie. Much appreciated. And as John says there, I know people are ahead of me. There's not much I can do about that. I just appreciate people not spoiling it for me in the chat. Julie says she enjoys her morning coffee. Lots of people enjoy the morning coffees. She's good to hear. Makes you feel nice and fresh. Wake you up in the morning. Ready to start the day. Dean, Jack Grealish, from his injury, is set to come back around May time. Coming back to Man City. Well, he might not come back to Man City. Scheduled to come back from next season, from the summer, from June onwards. But whether we see him again in a City shirt or not, that remains to be seen. Jessica, it would be nice to get Ait-Nouri to score a goal. Do you know he's been a breath of fresh air since he's come back from AFCON? A breath of fresh air. Chad says, "Do I go to many games in person?" I tried to get to as many games as possible. I apologise. I did even have scheduled my Fulham stream from midweek. I was very kindly invited to go to the Etihad to sample the game in Tunnel Club, which was absolutely brilliant. So I ended up heading to the Etihad for that game and enjoying that special experience rather than doing my live stream. So apologies that I'd scheduled the live stream, said I was going to do a live stream and was set to do a live stream, and then on short notice had to cancel it. But I didn't want to miss that fantastic opportunity, and I had an absolutely brilliant time there, and it was brilliant to see Man City score 3 goals and win the game 3-0 and have a tremendous time, which, thumbs up from me. But back again here today with a live watch along, and all being well, we'll be back again Saturday night of next week for our game against Newcastle United. Jean says, 4 a.m. I'm enjoying a Fanta green soda. Nice. So it is nice to have Ait-Nouri overlapping and making things happen. Is City into the penalty area? A chance here for maybe City to have a shot. They opt not to. They're going to choose to work it out. My eyesight's so bad, guys. I've currently got my stream on down here and I'm having to go like, who's that on the ball? I can't see. I can't even see the numbers. I don't know who's got what. It has to be more zoomed in. Oh, my eyesight's so bad. I think it's because the stream's not so clear, because I have to use the streams to be able to do the live watch along. That I rely on the numbers. I rely on numbers. The numbers are so unclear on the stream. Never mind. FSG says, counts on Google for Rayan Ait-Nouri. We'll see, it might go down as his goal. It just didn't look like it were on target. Anyway, guys, I'd appreciate anybody leaving a thumbs up. We're on the push to 100 likes, 60 likes to go. Any help towards that would be great. And do subscribe as well if you are new around here. Man City dominating the possession in the first 10 minutes. 93% possession. That's mental. 93% possession so far. Just 7% of the balls that have been touched at the moment. Don't be clipping that, by the way. Has come from Salford City. Kushik, thank you very much for tuning in. Much appreciated. Nice to see John Stones, though, isn't it? Back in the Man City starting 11. It feels like forever since we've seen him. Kushik enjoying it with some chicken korma, garlic naan breads, poppadoms, and mango Lucy. Living like a king. Here's Salford into the penalty area, and they've got themselves a corner. You see, they've got to make these set pieces, these opportunities count, Salford today. They've got to make them count. They'll be looking to go and do better than they did last season, so that means not losing by 8. And they'll be looking to try and score a goal as well today. So some defending here for City to do. Trafford won't obviously want to concede. Can Salford get a good ball into the box is the question. Ball comes in. Headed clear by Manchester City. And should be followed up with a full clearance. And is. And there's a potential counter-attack on here. Can Marmoush get his ball right? That's a good ball played across. Oh no, my stream stopped working. That's not a good time for my stream to stop working. Oh, it's back. It's back. It's back. Oh man, what is going on? Right, we're through 12 minutes. City lead here by a goal to 0 against Salford. What will Salford be thinking here? They've gone 1-0 behind after 5 minutes. They'll be thinking to themselves, we don't want to concede a second. So even if they do end up conceding a second, I don't think Salford would be too disappointed. You know, if this is 1-0 or 2-0 at half-time to Manchester City, there's not completely out of the game, but they're keeping the score down. And as I said before, it's important because it derailed their season, that 8-0 loss against Man City. They were in real good form in the build-up to the City game. They weren't conceding goals. They conceded early. City ended up giving them a slap in the face. They won that game by 8-0. Salford struggled with their confidence after that game, and they ended up not getting their goal of getting promotion to League One. They'll want to try and hold on to their playoff spot that they're currently in. They're also going to want to try and push to see if they can get a top 3 spot, an automatic promotion spot into League One, which is currently very achievable for them. So they want to come to the Etihad, enjoy themselves, have a good cup run, which they've had, and see if they can cause Man City some problems. Can you score a goal? Can you keep the score down? They're the questions. That's the first thing that Salford will be thinking of. Before they even start thinking about winning and giant killing, they'll be thinking about they don't want to come here like they did last year, lose 8-0, and end up derailing their season. So with Man City grabbing the all-important opening goal, it becomes very difficult for them now to cause that big upset. So it's important that Manchester City continue to build on this start and see if we can grab another goal or two in this first half and, for me, get this game wrapped up, done and dusted. You don't really need to make that many substitutions. If you are, you're going to be looking towards the younger players rather than the more experienced players because we've got them on the bench in case we need them. Where if we're, 3-0 up in the second half against a League Two side, we shouldn't need our experienced players to come onto the pitch. So I would, for me, be getting the younger players on. But we need to try and get to that stage. At the minute, we're through the first third of this game. We lead by a goal to 0. Salford haven't caused City too many problems. They put one corner in, which was dealt with. Manchester City haven't created all that much, but through what I think has gone down as an Ait-Nouri goal so far, has given Manchester City the lead, and that's pretty much the only talking point. Good news is Marmoush was limping early on, but he seems to be running and moving very freely now, which is good news. They have got one of Man United's old sponsors, AIG. I presume AIG have got some contacts with Manchester United, and I'm saying contacts have been used for Salford City. There is definitely Salford City and Manchester United connections. Paul Lim, of course, and of course the class of 92, who were owners of Salford City as well. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, Salford City were looking to try and grow their fan base by appealing to the Manchester United fans who were protesting about Manchester United and their ownership under the Glazers and saying, actually, don't bother going to FC United and Manchester that was created. We've got the class of 92 here. Come here instead is what they were looking for. Chloe says it's gone down as a Dorrington own goal. There you go. Was an own goal. It wasn't a shot on target. It doesn't surprise me that it has gone down as an own goal. Chad, Salford is to the north and west of Manchester. It's actually quite a big area of Manchester made up of Salford. Stems as far across as right next to Bolton, moves right across towards Manchester City Centre, and all that north and west area of Manchester makes up Salford. Their ground at the moment that they're playing in is approximately, I'd say, 2.5-3 miles outside of Manchester City Centre. Doesn't have any tram networks that go to the ground or near the ground, so your only way to get to the ground is either walk or take a bus or drive. Jessica it was, yep. Own goal, so still Ait-Nouri waits for his first goal for Manchester City. It is what it is. If it weren't for Ait-Nouri's ball in, we wouldn't be 1-0 up, and that's the most important thing. Man City scoring the goal and Man City taking the lead here in this game against Salford City. So we're closing in now on 50 likes, guys. Just 4 to go. Any help towards that would be great, and do subscribe. Cherki then stood over a free kick. Looks like it might be a bit far out to have a shot. It is. He's going to put a ball into the box. It's a dangerous ball into the box. Ends up working its way to the far post. Another chance here for City to maybe put a ball in, but the offside flag, I think, has gone up against John Stones, and that'll be a free kick for Salford City instead. He looked onside there, John Stones, for me. So, unlucky. Let's have a look at the scores from around the ground. See if they've got any more goals that have gone in. Burnley 0-0 against Mansfield. Norwich City 0-0 against West Brom. Southampton 0-0 against Leicester. The only goal that we've had in the 3 PM games in the FA Cup is Manchester City scoring the goal against Salford. As Paul Scholes in the stands for today's game has gone down on the 6th minute as a Dorrington own goal. No goals in the Championship. A couple of full-time scores in League One. Reading 3, Wickham 2, and Stevenage 1, Huddersfield 0. Later scores. Barnsley are 2-0 up. And Salford's got a chance here. Salford's got a chance here. Goes down under a challenge. Does he slip or is he fouled is the question. He doesn't get a shot away in the end. Osterfield it is that's gone down. Long ball forward causes Man City some problems. At 6s and 7s, extra space opens up. And I think he slips. Is what I think happens there. He goes to pull the trigger. He's off balance. And he doesn't slip. He goes to take the shot with his left foot. But his right foot pokes it away from his left foot and falls over himself. Is what happened there. Desperately unlucky. Slightly comical. There we go. Doncaster, Port Vale postponed. Cardiff were 1-0 up at home to Luton. 0-0 Barnet Cheltenham in League 2. Chesterfield 1 up against Harrogate. Milton Keynes Dons 1-0 up against Newport County. I think Salford have got a trip midweek to Newport County. Shrewsbury Town 1-0 up against Swindon. Right, Max Alain's gone down feeling some discomfort as well. We've had the opening goal in the Championship. Preston North End. Mixed will be happy of taking the lead against Watford. So, Elaine goes to try and make the interception. He takes a bit of a hit from the Salford man when he goes down, and he feels a bit of discomfort when he goes to try and get back up again. So Elaine getting some treatment from the City physios. Karl Robinson takes his opportunity to give some instructions from the touchline to his Salford City players. 20 minutes in here, Man City leading by 1-0. As we do hit 50 likes, we're now 49 likes away from 100 likes. So thank you very much for everybody that's left a thumbs up so far. Max Elaine looks in quite a lot of discomfort, limping off towards the sideline. I wonder if he's going to have to come off. He looks in a lot of pain, Max Elaine. I think the physios are looking very concerned, saying I think a substitution's going to have to be made. And Max Elaine is going to come off then. A substitution is being made. I think City are just going to tinker with the team a little bit, because I'm fairly sure I just saw Rico Lewis heading towards right back. So a substitution is made. And it is McAdoo that's going to come on. So he's going to go to the right wing. You're going to see, I think, Foden head to the midfield, in central midfield. And Rico Lewis is going to go into right back. Excellent for McAdoo, though. He's coming on and he's going to get plenty of minutes. Toxic, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. And to be fair, Toxic, it does depend on the context of Arsenal being better. Better at what exactly? Remains open for interpretation. I weren't too impressed with Arsenal when they played against Brentford. And there's a shot that comes in. It's a great goal. Marmoush scores, but the offside flag is up. Great finish. So it's a good strike, isn't it? Cool. It's, Burnley have gone 1-0 up, Chloe says. It was some finish. A good finish that from Omar Marmoush. And Burnley are 1-0 up at home against Mansfield Town. He's onside. I don't think VAR's in operation. He's miles onside. Miles onside. Ah! Typical. Typical. No VAR. Omar Marmoush robbed of a fantastic finish. Pep Guardiola shakes his head, not happy with that. Says he robbed of a goal there. Toxic said, favourite Portuguese team? That's a good question, to be fair. I'm very thankful towards Benfica. Managed to produce some great players who've ended up playing for Man City at some point, Bernardo Silva being one of them. City have got good relations with Sporting Club de Portugal as well. Obviously picked up their director of football, Hugo Viana. Anyway, City just got to keep going, continuing to build and keep going. See if we can get that killer 2-goal cushion and push from there. City just been a bit casual at the minute. As Adam says, yeah, it's been a bit poor. It's been a game of very few opportunities. Been a bit scrappy. Again, going back to what I said at the start of the stream about how are Salford going to try and keep the score down? Well, through doing this. It's how you keep the score down. You're just going to look to try and make the game as boring as possible, pretty much. So through 25 minutes, City lead by 1-0. Dorrington own goal, the only goal of the game so far. Marmoush just had a good strike ruled out. If we'd had VAR in operation, it would have been a goal because he was miles onside, as Abu says. But unfortunately, VAR not in operation today. I presume that's because there's teams that don't have the capacity for VAR that are still in the competition. I think it's only, I want to say, either 5th round or quarter-final onwards is when you'll have VAR in operation. So, another chance here for City to come forward, but too much on the pass and that will run out of play for a goal kick to Salford. I think Salford would be very happy if you used to say to them, first 26 minutes of the game, you're 1-0 behind, they'd have gone, I'll take that. It's been a very uninspiring game of football, this one. Let's not kid ourselves here. A throw in here for Salford. And City need to be careful. You know, you keep it at 1-0 and Salford start creating a chance or two. You run the risk of potentially this game going to extra time when it doesn't need to. Obviously, no replays. So you don't have to worry about the extra game. And teams have got to go for it to try and win. Nico G wins Man City a throw in there. And a chance here for City to fully get this one clear. And will work it to the right-hand side. Here's Rico Lewis then. Bringing Manchester City forward. Worked here towards the left. Too much on that. Will be mopped up by Salford. Not the best of balls forward, that. Not going to lie. A floated ball across here for McAdoo. A heavier touch from him. City still managed to keep hold of the ball though. Worked here to the left. Another chance for a ball to come across. It does. Marmoush can't take the touch. Salford can get it clear. Another chance here for City to have the shot. They have the shot. It takes a deflection and that'll be a corner. Nico Gonzalez with the shot that took the big deflection. Takes it over the top of the crossbar. And City can have another corner. Now, McAdoo on his corners against Exeter was brilliant. So, interesting to see if he's gone over to take the corner. Doesn't look like it. Corner then, ready to come in. Corner comes in. It's easy enough to deal with, not the best of corners. City will mop that up. I've just realised it is Valentine's Day, 14th of Feb. Happy Valentine's Day, guys. I feel like it's just one of them things, isn't it, really, that people have started, like, buying themselves their own Valentine's gifts and stuff. So a very commercialised day, isn't it? Very commercialised day. It's a nice day, for those that maybe haven't really had much of an opportunity to find much love out there and, be able to go on dates and share it with a partner and things. The concept of it, is nice. I've been there, done that one. The t-shirt novelty wears off. John, yes, it's modern Halloween. It's all very commercialised, isn't it? Halloween's, buy sweets, candy, as they say in America. Buy your sweets, buy your chocolate. Children knocking on the door in the costumes, getting sweets and stuff. What happens if you want to give a trick? What happens if you just say to them, they say trick or treat, holding out the bag, they want some chocolate or something, and you just go trick and you shut the door in their face. What happens then? What happens then? Oh, man. That's mean, isn't it? That is mean. Funny, though. What happens if, like, you want to celebrate Valentine's Day and, like, say, like, what happens if you're married and you just, like, you go to your partner and you say, oh, do you want to be my Valentine? And they say no. What happens then? The V-Day. The V-Day. Happy Valentine's Day to you, Jessica. A fellow single here. I saw Asda. In the UK, it's a supermarket chain. They were running a special Valentine's Day thing. Is that Marmoush running onto that, and Matty Young rushes out to intercept. But yeah, Asda were running this special campaign where they've changed the baskets, so their colours are green and their baskets are green, and they've changed the colour of some of their baskets from green to red. And if you're single and you're looking to speak with other single people, you pick up a red basket and do your shopping in the supermarket. You can start speaking with each other because there's fellow singles going on. I don't know if that were some kind of social media thing, because Mick Sid's single, and he messaged me this morning and said he went to Asda looking for them red baskets and couldn't find any. So I don't know if any of you guys have maybe been to Asda and seen these red baskets knocking around, but I don't know if it's just get me speaking about them on stream about things that are going on or not. I don't know. It is interesting, isn't it? I wonder if it's worked for anybody. I mean, it'd be quite funny, Imagine someone gets together and they end up having children, and the children ask, "Oh, how did mum and dad meet?" "Oh, we met red basket in Asda." What a story that is. Met on the veg aisle. Oh, man, this is a bad game that we're having to laugh about other stuff now. Jessica, is another day to overcharge as ball gets squared across. Good defending there by Salford. City just looking to go through the gears here, trying to create and make something happen. It is very... Just a reason to up the price of your chocolates, up the price of your flowers and stuff, and it's just, I don't know. Buy a card and spend some money. It is what it is. John's not happy. He's got a Valentine's card. It's got a spelling mistake. What's the spelling mistake? Now the big questions. I feel like there could be some good jokes there with a spelling mistake, actually. Chad. I'm sorry to hear that, Chad. So he got his wife some chocolates and she wasn't that happy. I got my wife some chocolate. Delighted. So constructive criticism for John and his Valentine's card. Oh, man. Oh, man. This game's a bit boring, isn't it? Yeah. There's not much happening. It's like when City are creating the chances, they're not like having shots at the keeper. They're just putting balls across the box, trying to make something happen. We've got a corner. I feel like we could really do with a second goal before half-time just to, like, you know, time's near enough over. See what happens in the second half. I said to you guys, didn't I? I said to you guys, 5-0. And, you know, going off Man City's drop-offs in second halves, if we're just going to be 1-0 ahead, that isn't good if there's going to be a drop-off coming in the second half. Salford are well in the game if there's going to be a drop-off in the second half. And this stays 1-0. Corner comes in. Bit of pushing and shoving going on. Hoofed clear by Salford. Trafford's out. Whacks that one clear for Manchester City. Sent high. No real direction on it. Headed clear. Anything happening in the other games? No, Norwich City are 1-0 up against West Brom. Not many goals knocking... excuse me, not many goals knocking around in the FA Cup at the minute. Another long ball comes forward from City. Not accurate, and Matty Young can intercept for Salford. Barnsley 2, Wimbledon 2 in League One. That's entertaining. Bradford are 1-0 up against Peterborough. Peterborough in great form. Luton have found an equaliser against Cardiff. Lincoln, big clash at the top of the table. Second play, third. Lincoln are 1-0 up against Bolton. Excuse me. Bromley 1-0 up against Notts County. Cambridge 1-0 up against Bristol Rovers. Chesterfield 1-0 up against Harrogate. MK Dons still 1-0 up. Shrewsbury 1-0 up against Swindon. Tranmere 1-0 up against Crawley. Queen's Park Rangers have found an equaliser against Blackburn. That's 1-1 now. Preston are still 1 up against Watford. Still 0-0. Southampton, Leicester in the FA Cup. All the other FA Cup games 1-0 to the home side. There's not much going on. Andy Man, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. The chat's keeping me more entertained as well, Jessica. I'm happy that you guys have decided to tune in and interacted because there is just not much going on. Andy Man. Salford's a city. So, Manchester, once you break up all the suburbs, isn't very big, but you put all the suburbs together is quite a big city. And Salford does sit... it's a city that's right next to Manchester, really. It sits to the north and west of Manchester, is where Salford is. Manchester United have big, heavy links in Salford. And there's a bit of a debate about where Old Trafford sits in Trafford about is that part of Manchester, is that part of Salford? So, obviously with the Manchester United ties there, takes a lot of the supporters away from Salford City, which is who Man City are playing here. So, it's geography with Jay, isn't it? I'm not going to sit here and pretend I'm some kind of Salford expert. I'm not a Salford expert. where I'm actually based isn't a million miles away from Salford, and let me tell you, it's mind blowing this for me that there's a huge accent change. So where I am, not too far off Bolton, there's obviously the Bolton accent, which some of you guys may know, you may not know. Think of Peter Kay, the comedian. He's got a very broad Bolton accent, and you can go like a couple of miles down the road. I am literally talking like one area of Bolton to the next. So somewhere like Farnworth, which is in Bolton, you head literally like a mile down the road, you'll touch on a place called Walkden, and one side of Walkden sits in Bolton, where they'll have a Bolton accent, and the other side of Walkden is the Salford side, which some of you guys may be familiar with. Angry Ginge, the Manchester United fan, the streamer, One I'm a Celebrity. He's from Walkden, I believe, and he's obviously got a Manchester accent rather than the Bolton accent, so I'm going to presume he's from the Salford end of Walkden rather than the Bolton end. And it blows my mind that the boundary separation of Bolton and Salford has an accent change, where it goes from the like a broad Bolton Lancashire accent into a Manchester accent, where they'll start to put more emphasis on words. You'll hear words like manny, which is how someone from Manchester might speak. And that's pretty much where you get the separation of the accents. So, Stuart, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Says, what's the population of Greater Manchester as opposed to Manchester proper? I can't give you an answer because I'm not 100% sure on that, I'm afraid. Greater Manchester's population must be pretty big. Got pretty big city. Well, obviously, Manchester City and Salford City sit in the districts of Greater Manchester, Bury, Oldham, Ashton, a place like Didsbury, towards the south. That's a ball played, isn't it? There's a bit of trouble there for City from that set piece. Salford look lively on these set pieces. City need to be wary. It could well have something to do with schools. It blows my mind. I'm not 100 miles away from the separation area of Walkden that I was explaining to you guys before. There's a ball that comes in. Salford are causing all kinds of problems. There's a great save there from James Trafford. Brilliant save. Yeah, so I'm not too far away from Walkden and the weirdness of why Walkden has Manchester and Bolton like mixed into one. But they do have certain schools that sit towards the Bolton side, you know, like your Overholt and Little Holt and them areas. Lee sits to the south. Atherton's not too far away either. And then obviously you've got the Salford side of things, which obviously got your Walkdens, what's the other one called? Swinton, places like that, where it dips more into Manchester than Bolton. So, yeah. That's not like a Manchester, Lancashire problem. It's like a UK problem. I've heard there's over 50 accents in the UK, and you think of how small the UK is in comparison. The state of Texas is bigger than the UK. Yet there's 50 accents that sit in the UK. It gives you a good comparison about what you're dealing with. Weird. Macclesfield. Macclesfield's further south of Manchester. Fairly sure it's Cheshire. Classed as Cheshire. It's a brilliant save, that Stuart and Jessica. Yeah, great save from Trafford. Got some Coronation Street mixing in there. If you want to learn a bit more about Manchester, Coronation Street, the soap opera, is a good way to go about it. On Weatherfield. Oh. I went to school with someone, actually, that's in Coronation Street, or they were in it anyway. As in the year below I am. Bit of pointless information. Right, we're coasting towards half-time here. City have not been very good. And Salford have looked lively and forced a save from Trafford. It's these set pieces. City never got that set piece fully clear. And it caused City some problems. And it's very uninspiring, isn't it? 1-0 up against a League Two side. Very uninspiring. Had a couple of injuries, so there might be 2 or 3 minutes added on here. More boring. It's more boring than the Super Bowl. And that was a boring Super Bowl. I was waiting for that to get more entertaining, and it never did. Fourth quarter weren't too bad. First 3, very uninspiring. Intriguing game of football, though. It felt a bit like a regular season game, an unimportant regular season game. So, yeah. Two minutes then into the first of 2 minutes. Half-time show was very political. Very political, the half-time show. You take the politics out of it. I actually quite enjoyed the half-time show from Bad Bunny. I'm not a big Bad Bunny fan. Didn't know anything about him. I respected that he did the whole performance in Spanish. I enjoyed that, giving a shout out to America, that he's named all of the countries through South America and Central America and North America, and I imagine that's probably going to be a common theme that you'd see throughout the World Cup as well. It's not a World Cup that just belongs to the United States of America. It's a World Cup that belongs to North America. Mexico have got games. Canada have got games as well, and I'm hoping that the World Cup's going to showcase everything that North America's got to offer. Obviously, the biggest and most major of the stadiums and everything, but predominantly is in the United States of America. And I've been to the United States of America several times. Always enjoyed my visits there, so you won't see me speaking bad about the United States of America. But big sports shows, they do get a bit political, don't they? Which I think is a big shame. I'm a big fan of keeping sport and politics separate to avoid aggravation. Chad, I do follow the NFL. I'm very unfortunate to support the Miami Dolphins. I've not really had over the last couple of seasons too much to shout about, so there we go. Tito says, my first language is Spanish, yet don't understand most of what Bad Bunny says. Is that like an accent thing, or is that like, is he one of them people that, says he speaks Spanish, but his family speaks Spanish and he doesn't speak it that much? Corner comes in, and that's a close header from Salford. That'll get us to half-time. City riding the luck a little bit there. Riding the luck a bit. There's the half-time whistle. Poor performance, that, from Man City. Poor performance. Let's digest a bit more. Tito says, accent, slang, and generation gap too. Interesting. I only asked that question because I'm a big fan of the Breaking Bad universe, and keep an eye on what's been spoken about in terms of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, and a lot of that's based in Mexico. So I see a lot of people on websites like Reddit that speak about the accents and how bad the accents are. Yeah, I'm not a Spanish speaker, so I don't really hear too much about what the difference of accents are yet. Other people that have Spanish as their first language will be able to pick up on it and say that it's really bad. So they enjoy the TV show, but the Spanish accents in it, they don't like it. And they said it all came down to not just accent, it came down to the ability to deliver the lines. There were one character in a fair few of the episodes who said that I think he was US born but Mexican raised, and they said that you could tell that he was Mexican raised by how he delivered his lines. There were a lot of little bits of chatter in between, him saying two different words and stuff that just felt very authentic and very Mexican, whereas compared with someone who's learnt Spanish, who's going to learn an accent and speak it, so that everyone else would just speaking it like they've learnt it from a book, whereas he felt very fluent. So, there we go. Interesting. I find it interesting anyway. I found this chat more interesting than that first half from Manchester City. Let's put it that way. There we go. Right, let's have a look then. Jessica supporting the Giants and Jags. There we go. Andy Mann's a long-suffering Vikings fan. Got some 49ers fans in from John as well. It's just Man City. Scott, thanks for tuning in. It's not been good. It's an invisible midfield. It's almost like they can't be bothered. Got to score some goals to be bothered, so I'm hoping that City aren't going to have this drop-off in the second half, because surely we can't drop off any more than what we have. The only bright sparks that I've had, and I'd say I've had two, is Marmoush has looked lively up top, needs more service, only found once a long ball through to him, something to run onto and him to have a shot. He scored, and had VAR been in operation, it would have been the all-important second goal for Manchester City. It didn't come. The other bright spot that we've had is Ait-Nouri in the build-up to the goal, getting forward and continuing his impressive form in being a tremendous fullback on that left-hand side for Manchester City. So they're the two bright sparks that I've seen from City in that first half. Put my phone on to charge, ready for the second half. But other than that, it's just been very uninspiring from Man City, and actually Salford demonstrated in a couple of set pieces that these set pieces are causing Manchester City some problems, so they need to be wary. So let's have a look at the statistics then for this game. City lead through a 6-minute goal from Dorrington, own goal for him for Salford City. City, though, dominating possession, 85.2% possession, 14.8% possession for Salford, but they've had less than 15% of the ball, yet have managed as many shots as Man City. They've managed a shot on target to test the goalkeeper. Man City, 85% possession, just 4 shots, none on target. It's an awful performance. And the fact that we're playing a League 2 side and making hard work of it speaks real volume for me. Now, you'd look at the statistics and you'd say 85% possession, great. Nearly 400 accurate passes, great. 92% pass completion rate, great. However, we're struggling to create chances. And what's more concerning is a League 2 side. We're struggling to create chances against a League 2 side. No shots in the first half, despite us scoring a goal because it's come through an own goal. Salford have managed as many shots as us. They've managed more shots on target than us. Their pass accuracy is less than 50%. That's 1 in every 2. 1 in every 2 passes that they play is incomplete. It's not accurate. Yet they've still managed 4 shots, create chances, have the only shot on target. This is an awful first half, as worse as the first half as I could have seen. Yet statistically, you'd say possession-wise, passing-wise, pass accuracy-wise, great. But football's about scoring and creating and making things happen, and we're not doing it. And if we're just going to whimper over the line with a 1-0 win, well, we carry on like we were at the end of that first half into the second half, something's going to stick on these set pieces from Salford and they'll find an equaliser. So City need to put their ideas up going into the second half. They need to find a second, a third, and get this game killed off ASAP, because this has just not been very good from Manchester City, lacking a real case of urgency in the side. Maybe that's come from so many changes being made. I don't know. It's just not been very good. And I look at the team for Man City and lots of experience on the bench. The only other youthful player that you could go towards is Samba Makedu's already on the pitch in place of Max Lane, which has seen Rico Lewis go in at defence rather than into midfield. Our defence is lacking a bit of physicality. It looks disjointed because these players just haven't played with each other before. I think that was always going to be the case. So you need to get a grip in midfield, and I'm just not really seeing that much of Man City's midfield, to be honest. Rico Lewis ghosted, Nico G done very little, Phil Foden, I forgot that he was playing, Tijjani Reijnders, uninfluential, Cherki even not done anything in that first half. And the service, I feel sorry for Marmoush. Marmoush is ready, sitting on the end of the line. He's ready to make them runs. He's ready to score goals. Yet we've got no service for him to make things happen. So I'm looking towards the bench and who's going to unlock, who's going to create. Well, unless you're going to do something different with Matheus Nunes and put him in midfield, only other player I can think of is Antoine Semenyo. That's going to be the other player that could maybe make something happen. But the whole point of us not going with these big names and the big stars of Manchester City is we want to give these players a well-deserved rest ahead of what's going to be a big push towards the end of the season, the business end of the season. So I can't see Man City maybe changing all that much, to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised at some point in the second half if you do start to see the likes of Semenyo and Guehi and maybe Ruben Dias continuing his recovery from injury and giving him maybe 15, 20 minutes at the end of the game. But it's a bit concerning. It is a bit concerning. For me, anyway. I'd like to know your thoughts. As Man City Scott says, shocking performance, midfield invisible. Lewis, is he playing? Foden, not doing much. Just poor. All round, just very poor from Manchester City. And we need to do something different in the second half. Rick says he'd like to see Semenyo and Guehi on. Really should be out of sight. You'd be looking to try and score at least 3 goals here in the first half and have this game over with and hope that the heads of Salford drop and we can go on, pick them off and score a fair few goals. But at the minute, it's just whimpering on. City struggling a little bit and Salford probably unlucky not to come away with a goal and be on level terms. It's been very uninspiring from Man City and they've got to buckle up going into the second half. Right, so before I do crack on with my halftime entertainment brought to you by my partner channel Mixed, links and details there in the description. Don't forget, if you are enjoying the content, do subscribe to my channel. It is free to subscribe. Social media links there in the description if you want to go and follow me on my X, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships or any videos or any general business inquiries. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up. We're now just 36 likes away from 100. Any help towards that would be much appreciated. And also don't forget as well to get your halftime thoughts in the chat. That would be much appreciated. Right, do have some halftime entertainment. It is brought to you by Mixed. This is his version of the Singapore Sling. So sit back, relax, enjoy, grab yourself a drink and snack, ready for the second half, and hopefully it'll be much better for Manchester City.
What's up guys, welcome back to Mixer channel where we do cocktails and drinks, and today's cocktail guys is the Singapore Sling. Because this time I'm going to show you the best version of it, and I will show you how to make a Singapore Sling, so let's get straight on with it. So get your shaker, put some ice as we've already pre-prepared. And the first ingredient to go in guys is 50ml or just short of 2 ounces of gin. We are using the Plymouth gin today. And next up is 25ml or just short of 1 ounce of cherry brandy. So we're using the Decaipa brand. Next is 25ml or 1 ounce fresh lemon juice. The last ingredient is 25ml or just short of 1 ounce of grenadine. So anyone that knows what grenadine is, just a pomegranate syrup, because that's what's made from grenadine. Oh, it's going to be very sweet. Right, put your lid on, and now give it a good shake, take 10 seconds to get nice and chilled. Right, get your sling glass, fill it with ice, and then just strain into it. And all you do now to complete this Singapore sling is top up with soda water. Beautiful. And the final thing you want to do now, guys, is garnish it with a cherry. Here we are. There we go. Beautiful. One Singapore sling. There you go, guys. One Singapore sling. How does this lovely gin cocktail taste? Absolutely beautiful. So it's certainly a sweet one because with the soda water, because it just balances out a bit, but with the grenadine gives it that absolutely beautiful taste with the cherry brandy and the gin mixed in together. It's very, very satisfying. And that, guys, is the Singapore sling. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Mixed, as we're now on 419 subs. We're getting ever closer to 500. As I really can't thank you guys enough for the support throughout 2020. You've been superb. But that is all for now, and I will see you guys for our next cocktail video. Cheers.
And a big thank you to Mixed for providing today's halftime entertainment. Do go and check him out. Links and details, they are in the description. Matthew, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Tuning in from Salford. Of all places to be tuning in from, Salford. Soverator says, one of the most boring first halves I've seen watching City this season. All possession and just no end product and doing nothing with it. And Salford look like, when they've got a set piece, that they're gonna do something, and that's, I think, what's causing us all a concern. And do you know what, Julia? It's funny that you said that. I thought to myself about, I'm not gonna have any alcohol today. Not got too much alcohol left in the house. We do have a little bit knocking around, and going off that first half performance, if it's going to continue in the second half, we might need an alcoholic beverage. And JSGC's come prepared. We're on that. That was a bad first half. Real bad first half. Right, see if we're underway for the second half. I need to get my stream back underway. It looks like we're soon ready for kickoff, so we'll get the earphone back in. And we'll see where we go from there. Stuart, thank you very much for the $10 donation. It is much appreciated. Remember, any donations that do come into the channel do get reinvested back into the channel. So that goes towards either providing quality videos for you guys, new equipment, things like that. So much appreciated, Stuart. It says, neutral in New York City here. From the upcoming fixtures, Newcastle, which is the Magpies, Leeds, Forest, Hammers, which is West Ham United. Before your match with Arsenal on 22nd of March, do you expect any issues, or will you take all the points? Cheers. We've got lots of big games coming up. The Champions League games could have a big impact on what happens in the Premier League games. I put out on my Twitter yesterday, and I think I'm going to maintain with what I said on my Twitter yesterday about, I think it's important that we don't start to look too far ahead. I think it's important to have a look at what games... Make sure my clock's going, it is. It's important to look at each other's games. I'm fully aware that Arsenal play midweek against Wolverhampton Wanderers away from home. I know they've got a game coming up at home against Chelsea, and obviously Man City have got a home game against Newcastle. And I don't really look any further beyond that, because I don't think there's any need to look any further beyond what we've got coming up in the first half, in the next game that you've got. You've got to take it a game at a time. We know right now we're 4 points behind Arsenal. We know that Arsenal are going to be playing before us with this game that they've got against Wolves, which is the game that was postponed for the League Cup final in March. So because that game against Wolves has been postponed, and Crystal Palace is who Man City would have been playing at home on that same weekend. Crystal Palace are playing in the Europa Conference League playoff. We've not got the chance to play that game either in the upcoming midweek or next midweek after that. We've got to play that game in either April or May, and that could potentially have an impact on the title race. it all depends on what Arsenal do in that game against Wolves. If they are to win that game, it will be 7 points. And then Man City play Newcastle United at the weekend, and we've got a chance to keep the gap to 7 points and obviously always have that game in hand. And we know that we've got Arsenal coming up in the League Cup final at the end of March. Is it 22nd of March, the game? And we know that we've got Arsenal coming up in the Premier League towards the middle of April. So we know what we need to do. I just leave it a game at a time. Leeds away, I know that City have got coming up. That's going to be difficult. Games against Nottingham Forest, against West Ham, the teams that are fighting for survival, they're not going to be easy. And I know Arsenal have got a lot of teams who are playing down towards the bottom. And at this time of year, teams are scrapping and scraping for all the points that they can get. There's no such thing as an easy game. Arsenal's game against Wolves, I don't think it's going to be as simple and straightforward for them as what maybe they're thinking. Wolves get that to 0-0 at half-time, and that all of a sudden becomes a high-pressure game for Arsenal, because if Arsenal drop points, all of a sudden they're 5 points clear of Man City. Let's say the draw, they're 5 points clear of Man City. Man City have got a game in hand, and Man City have still got to play Arsenal. It goes from Arsenal being firm favourites and holding the advantage to, if Man City win every single game between now and the end of the season, mathematically, we win the Premier League. So that's how fine the margins are. I think Champions League could have an impact. I think FA Cup games could have an impact due to postponed games and player fatigue. Champions League's definitely going to have an impact. League Cup final is having its impact. So it is what it is. It is what it is. I'm looking forward to each and every single Man City game. I'm taking it a game at a time, and we'll continue to assess until we get up to that Arsenal Premier League game. And I think once that game's come and gone, we can then look at the remaining fixtures to the end of the season, and we can start to work out where things can go right, where things can go wrong, and what we're dealing with and playing with. We might not end up winning the Premier League title, and I'm going to sit here right now and I'm going to say that's okay if we don't end up winning the Premier League title. I've maintained all season that we're transitioning. I just want us to improve on how we've been performing from last season. A chance here for Man City to potentially make it too. It's a good block from Salford. They can get it clear after Matty Young came out to collect the ball and couldn't quite get there. So it's okay. I just want us to push forward and challenge Arsenal and push them all the way. If we can do so, and Arsenal end up under pressure week after week after week, but they maintain their bottle and they end up winning the league, then I'd say fair credit, Arsenal. City have given it a go and we've improved on last season, and we're going to give it a good push next season to see if we can get the Premier League title. What I don't want to do is Man City just go out with a whimper and Arsenal steamroll it. So yeah. Mikado goes close there for Man City, forcing a save from the keeper. Shot on target. It's better for Man City. There's a good start to the second half. Geffin, thanks for tuning in. Not entirely sure why he's not in the squad. I don't know if it's injury related. I'm not too sure. Matthew, I'm not too sure what you mean. My time's still... You're on about that the second half's going on, and unfortunately we've still got another 40 minutes of the game. My clock is pretty much up to where I'm up to in the stream, to give you an idea of where my stream's at. Obviously, with the game being in the blackout, can't really do much about the delays today, so apologies for that. Blame the blackout. Corner from City. Headed clear, not the best of corners. Here's Mikado again. And another shot comes in, good block. Marianne going 4-0 Man City. I'll take scoring some goals. It'll be good for Man City not to have a drop-off here in the second half. Excuse me there as well. Very carbonated, these Copperberg drinks. Only 10 seconds behind. That's decent, that. That is decent. Tottenham Ranger, thanks for tuning in. It says Alfie Dorrington, a Spurs boy, who gave you the own goal. To be fair, I don't think he could have done much. He's gone to try and make the interception. It's hit his shin and it's gone in the back of the net. There's a good ball in from Rayan Ait-Nouri. Stuart says, cheers. Gunner supporters will be apoplectic if there's another draw, especially with Wolves. As a neutral, I sincerely hope that your style of football prevails over Arsenal. Arsenal, very set-piece orientated, can be very negative and defensive at times. It's how Arsenal play. Arsenal are a good team, a very good team, and they'll take some stopping. I take them very seriously. I think they're a very good team. They do what they do very well. Man City, I don't think are as good as what we were in previous seasons, but I think we have been improving. Well, we've won at Anfield. We staged a good comeback in the second half to make things happen. We're in a League Cup final. We're looking to try and win another major piece of silverware, and I think hopefully, things start to click second half of the season. I think the additions of Semenyo and Guehi have been good bits of business by Man City, and I'm hoping it can pay dividends to help us maybe win a few more games and help us to win a trophy or two more, which would be very nice. We'll see. We'll see what does happen. As I said, I think the key for me is you've just got to take it a game at a time. You can't look too far beyond. You start looking too far beyond and making predictions and looking at too many games. On paper, something looks simple and straightforward, but it could be anything but. You could be, I don't know, Burnley away that we've got, for example. That could be when we face them, the day that they potentially are, relegated and City confirm their relegation. They're, on that day, not going to want to be relegated, so they're going to kick up a huge fuss. And playing that game later in the season as opposed to, let's say, third game of the season in August are two very different kind of fixtures. So things can get very difficult very quickly. And I always look towards when we get to the final 4 or 5 games, what are the permutations looking like? Who are we facing? What are they playing for? That's going to give you your idea about how difficult a game's going to be. And in an ideal world, when you go into the final couple of games, you want to be playing teams who have got absolutely nothing to play for. Mentally, they're on the beach. A lot of the players will be thinking about the World Cup. They'll be pulling out of challenges. They don't want injuries. And if we've got something to play for and they haven't, as long as we play a good game, we score first and we do everything that we normally do, that should be enough to win them games. And I'm looking, I'm talking last maybe 2-3 games of the season where that is the case. I don't know who Man City, I don't look that far ahead. I don't know who Man City, I've looked at this fixture schedule, right, when it first comes out, and I don't really look or pay attention to it much until it actually comes around to that moment. That's just, for me, mentally how I deal with title races. I have no idea about who Arsenal play in March. I haven't looked that far ahead. I think it's too far. I just care about the here and now. Who have we got in our next game? How do we deal with that next game? Right. Can we win that? What we're looking at in the game after that. And in terms of looking ahead, I never really get more than 7 days beyond because it's just how it is. There is Villa at home. There was a big demand to try and get tickets for it. Couldn't tell you who Arsenal have got in the final game of the season. If I try and use memory, I'm fairly sure it's Bournemouth away. We've got penultimate game. There's potential, if we go far in the Champions League, that will be the third to last game of the season, and there'll be a game midweek sandwiched between Bournemouth away and Villa at home. But who that's going to be, if that's going to happen, all ifs and buts, I don't know. So, the way I see it is it's 38 games. We play each team home and away. You've got to accumulate the points. And that's why I keep doing maths. And I know some of you guys don't like me doing the maths, but I look at the averages. And the averages are telling me we're looking at around 84, 85 points. That's going to potentially be enough to win the Premier League. So, can Man City get to that points tally? That's the big question. Looking at the Premier League title and what we're dealing with as of right now. Man City sitting on 53 points, 26 games, averaging just over 2 points per game. We're on course to finish on, 77, 78 points. So we need to have a strong finish to the season, a very strong finish to the season. Arsenal not really looking towards, finishing on any more. Both sides have got 36 points to play with. What are you looking at here? I reckon honestly, I do. I reckon margin for error for Man City. I think we can afford to drop maybe points in 2 more games at the very most. Very, very most. It's potentially going to be just 1 more game, as long as that game is an Arsenal. It might be a case where we need to win 12 games. I'm confident if we win our final 12 games, we'll win the league. I reckon what we're looking at right now, we're looking 84 points. 85 if Arsenal continue with a better goal difference, so it's just +2. +2 with Man City playing Arsenal, that can just be overturned in one game. So it's not too problematic. There ain't a lot in it. Keith, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. It does feel like they've got 1-1 incoming. We've still not killed it off yet, have we, this game? It's corners, set pieces, causing Man City problems. They need to do something. John, yeah. Congratulations to Team GB winning their first Olympic gold at the Winter Olympics yesterday. In the skeleton. Was it men's skeleton? Managed to catch a bit of the Winter Olympics. Since a couple of horrific injuries that have come in as well. And was it Canada cheating on the curling? Pushing it with his finger? Telling the opposition to F off? What's going on there? Oh, man, I've never really watched any curling, but that was very dramatic. Very dramatic. All right, we're nearly at the hour mark. Remains 1-0 Man City. Wayward passes and it's just Man City have made real hard work of this. As Briank says, it's been a boring watch. It's, first 5 minutes of the second half, City were creating, making things happen. Since then, it's just been a bit. It's been nothing. It's been absolutely nothing. It's been a bad game of football. Bad game. Mansfield Town have found an equaliser against Burnley. Leicester City have found an equaliser against Southampton. Norwich still lead by a 1-0 against West Brom, and Man City still leading by a 1-0 here against Salford City. Just having a look. Derby County 1-0 up against Swansea. Portsmouth, Sheffield United 0-0. Blackburn Rovers now 3-1 up against Queen's Park Rangers. Sheffield Wednesday holding their own against Millwall. Mixed will be furious. They've conceded twice against Watford, 2 in 2 minutes. And now Preston, from being ahead, are now behind. Looking to League One. Barnsley 2-2 against Wimbledon. Blackpool 3-0 down against Plymouth. Bradford 2-0 up against Peterborough. Cardiff now 3-1 up. Salford having another set piece, trying to cause some problems for City. Exeter 0-0 against Northampton. Lincoln still 1-0 up against Bolton. League 2. Barrow 0-0 against Colchester. Bromley 1-1 against Notts County. Cambridge 2-1 up against Bristol Rovers. Chesterfield 1-0 up against Harrogate. Crewe 0-0 against Gillingham. Another chance here for Salford to get a ball into the box. City really struggling here. MK Dons 1-0 up against Newport. Oldham losing at home against Fleetwood Town. As another ball comes in for Salford there. City just struggling here. You sense a Salford goal incoming soon. They're full of confidence. Shrewsbury 1-1 against Swindon and Tranmere 2-0 up against Crawley. You feel like this goal's coming soon, don't you? Another set piece comes in. Headed clear by City. Can they get it clear? They can. Hey! This is problematic. Stuart, it's problematic. Chad, I don't blame me putting an FC 26 game on it. It'll probably be more entertaining than this City game. Jean, Norway doing well in the curling. 1 loss, 2 wins. Just out of interest, Jean, how's Norway doing at the Winter Olympics? Julia said I woke up at 7:30 a.m. for this. I went back to bed. Through the hour mark. It is at the Etihad, yeah. It's just, this has been poor from Man City. It's one of these rare games where if Man City end up winning the game, there's going to be a furious reaction to it regardless, because this is against a League 2 side. A strong team being put out by Man City. It's not a team full of youngsters. It's not Man City's academy playing today. A strong team It's been backs against the wall. Salford have caused City all kinds of problems. It's been a far better performance from Salford this season than it was last season. Been a poor performance from City. A poor performance. And City nearly get dispossessed there. Jessica says, thinks Norway have the most medals. I'll have a look at the Winter Olympics medal count, actually. Let's have a look. These are big questions, John. What Olympic sport would I do? I reckon in terms of the Summer Olympics, diving looks fun. If it's Winter Olympics, I'd probably go... I reckon... do you know... I do reckon curling would be quite fun. Shouting and shimmying it along. I think that'd be quite fun. Briank, what did I eat at the Man City hospitality? There was bread and red Leicester tarts on the table when you get there. Bread's nice in there. And the red Leicester tarts were very nice. Starters was it was chicken, some fancy chicken. Was nice. It was cold chicken though. I think it's meant to be served cold, which I'm not the biggest fan of cold chicken. It was nice, but not my favourite. And their mains was duck in a real nice sauce with a side of aubergine. We're biggest fan of aubergine. Thought I'd give it a try. Not amazing. The duck though, beautiful. Dessert was eaten mess. That were very nice as well. For half time, it was some cheese empanada that were very nice, and full time was a selection of cheeses, and you also had some sweets and chocolate and stuff, which was nice. Overall, the food was very decent. Oh, it's never disappointing in Tunnel Club, to be fair. Tunnel Club ground's great. They bring round plates and stuff. When I went up there, so they had chicken tenders, chips, beef joints and stuff. So yeah, right. Man City are making some changes, and not before long. And thank you very much, Jessica, for the Ait-Nouri one. I was just filming the players coming in, and then Ait-Nouri just walked up. I was like, oh, Ait-Nouri's right next to me. Then he decided to start checking himself out and his hair, and I thought, you know what, it makes quite a fun video. We'll upload that. Right, changes made then by Manchester City. No surprise that Man City have decided to make some changes because it's not been very good. So, Guehi, Semenyo, O'Reilly, they've come on. Ait-Nouri comes off, O'Reilly on. I presume he's going to go in at left back. John Stones comes off, and it's going to be Marc Guehi. John Stones obviously recovering from injury. No surprise that he comes off just after the hour mark, and Phil Foden's been uninspiring, so it's Antoine Semenyo that does come on for Manchester City. And now a free kick here for Salford in a shootable range. It has been bad, hasn't it, Kem? Been bad. Bad game. John says bobsleigh would be cool. It would, yeah. So a chance here for them to have a shot and make something happen, which City need to be wary of. We've got, 24 minutes remaining here. Salford still well in this cup tie. We are very stale. It's a perfect way of describing it. It's a stale performance. Free kick comes in. It's a good block by Man City. I don't really have many optimistic takes from this game, to be honest with you guys. I have nothing. It's just been a bad performance. Pep continues to scratch his head. He knows it's been a bad performance. How are we doing on the likes? 30 likes to go to 100, guys. Any help towards that would be great then. And do subscribe as well if you're new around here. Right. More defending for Man City to do. It has been pretty much like Salford's main threat has been set pieces. They're not really offered too much going forward in terms of dangers, but the set pieces have caused problems. Again, a little flick on comes in. O'Reilly takes a second to get his control and get it clear. And again, so Man City are making Salford look like a Premier League team, is what's going on here. Although Matty Young, it's not got the pace there, City, to get to the ball there. It was Rayan Cherki. Young apologises. Nearly got intercepted. Here's Semenyo. I think had this been away from home for Man City, this would have been a real banana skin. I wonder if these because a lot of these Salford players were playing for Salford last season. I wonder if that's had an impact on their mentality heading into the game. Obviously, it was a big day out for them last year, whereas here now, obviously, they've had the big day out last year. They've played here last season. They're here again this season. That it's more business mode that they're thinking of. You know, we scored after 6 minutes. We really should be able to take League 2 Salford to the sword and go on and score more goals. And we just struggle to create, struggle to do anything. It's almost like Karl Robinson's having a tactical masterclass on Pep Guardiola is what we're looking at. And all he's needed to do is defend deep and attack set pieces. Salford now decide to need some fresh legs. They'll be running on adrenaline. They'll be running on adrenaline, Salford. Excuse me. They're still in the game, so the adrenaline kicks in, and you know they don't mind making the changes to get fresh legs in there and try and keep up physically. You know, you're 2-3-0 down, the legs just go, you give up, and that's where you end up being on the receiving end of a cricket score. But it's not happened. Salford well in this game. Hey, anyway, Burnley 1, Mansfield 1, Man City 1, Salford 0, Norwich City 1, West Bromwich Albion 0, and Southampton 1, Leicester 1. Current scores in the FA Cup. West Ham have beaten Burton Albion 1-0 after extra time away from home earlier today. Got a couple of games taking place later on. Got Aston Villa taking on Newcastle United at 5:45 p.m. GMT at Villa Park, and Liverpool taking on Brighton and Hove Albion at Anfield at 8 p.m. GMT. Some goals in the Championship. Derby now 2-0 up against Swansea. Portsmouth 0-0 against Sheffield United. Preston have found an equaliser against Watford 2-2. Queen's Park Rangers 1, Blackburn Rovers 3, and Sheffield Wednesday could be on course for a big win. I think it should be their second win of the season, winning 1-0 at home against Millwall in League 1. Barnsley 2, Wimbledon 2. Blackpool now losing 4-0 at home against Plymouth. 2-0 Bradford against Peterborough. Cardiff City 3-1 up still against Luton. Exeter City Northampton still 0-0. Lincoln still beating Bolton in that second versus third game in League 1 by a 1-0. League 2, Bromley 1, Notts County 1, Cambridge 2, Bristol Rovers 1, Chesterfield 1, Harrogate 0, Crewe Alexandra 1, Gillingham 0, MK Dons 1, Newport 0, Oldham 0, Fleetwood 1, Shrewsbury 2, Swindon 1, and Tranmere 2, Crawley 0. Some games that are important for Salford City, of course, they're in League 2. Absolutely, Jean, you'd be saying I need to cut the Copperberg. Mental. Absolutely mental. It's more just like you defend deep. You stick to your game plan and you attack your set pieces. Then you're always going to stand a chance against Man City, and that's how easy it's been if Man City aren't on it in scoring goals. That's the importance of scoring 2-3 goals in a game, because if you don't, it's big problems as City make a good block there. Here's City now looking for a counter attack. Good mop up play though by Salford. Awful, Kevin. It's just been an awful performance. Stuart, do we have a prediction for the Liverpool-Brighton match later on today? I won't be surprised to see Brighton do something. Liverpool have been uninspiring, but obviously I think this is Liverpool's best chance of a major trophy. Going full strength, you would think, against Brighton. That could be a very interesting game. I think Liverpool are legit 2-1. I wouldn't be surprised to see Brighton maybe even send that one to extra time and even go through an extra time or possibly on penalties. I think it's a good game. Real interesting game. So I can see why that's been selected. Normally I'm not a big fan of all Premier League clashes being selected for broadcast for early stages of the FA Cup, because you see these games year after year, twice a year. It gets a bit boring. But that could be a very entertaining game. So I can see why that's been selected for broadcast. I was surprised that Man City Exeter weren't selected for broadcast for the big day out for Exeter, but here we are. I think I can understand Burnley, Mansfield, Man City, Salford, Norwich, West Brom, and Southampton, Leicester not being selected for broadcast. I understand Burton, West Ham being selected. I can understand Hull, Chelsea being selected yesterday. Wrexham, Ipswich. I'm not sure why that's been selected in an old Championship clash. I could just presume that's due to Wrexham's presence in America and getting views that's been selected. I don't think that should have been selected. Aston Villa, Newcastle, I think was always going to get selected due to the size of the two clubs. But I'm not overly keen on all Premier League games being selected for broadcast. And then tomorrow's games, I don't know if they're all available on television or not, but I know Arsenal against Wigan is a game that's been broadcast, which I don't really understand. I understand why Man City Salford's not been selected, so I don't really get why Arsenal Wigan has. If it was Wigan Arsenal at the DW, then yeah. At the Emirates Stadium, I don't really get it. So, yeah, here we are. Kevin said, shopping with a girl for it's Valentine's Day. You've got to make a good impression. So, you get some bonus points for that. That was a good decision. Foster's good call as Rodri comes on for Man City. And Nico Gonzalez, I don't think he's had his best of games for City today. He comes off. Andy, man, there's loads of teams in England. That's just, just dealing with the majority of the English Football League and Premier League teams. Lots of teams in the non-league as well. Mind-blowing. Ugh, man. Am I do not happy? Says it's embarrassing. This is what I was saying. This is one of them rare cases where Man City's going to win and nobody's going to be happy with it. And I think that's justified in not being happy with it because it's not been a good performance. We've struggled to create. We've been lucky not to concede, and we're lucky that we're not getting pushed even further by Salford as we enter into the final 15 minutes. We've scored one goal, and thankful that we've kept a clean sheet intact, that we're looking good to come on. Rodri's only just come on, cool. Kevin! That's funny. That's brilliant. That is amazing. That's brilliant. Well, I hope you do get lucky, my friend. Chat's been funny today. Chat's been far more entertaining than this game, which I'm very thankful for because his game's been uninspiring. Semenyo goes darting towards the touchline, squares the ball across. City get themselves a corner. I think we'd all feel a bit better if we could just, grab a second and kill the tie off and know that we're going through. Squared cross. Is that the second? No. Is that the second? No. It's a side netting. Here we are. Jessica. No, we're not connecting well. It's not been a good performance this from Man City. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just like, I don't know if it's just a simple case that is it a motivation thing or something? I don't know. I don't know what it is. West Bromwich Albion have found an equaliser against Norwich City. 13 minutes. Interesting. I have no idea how O'Reilly's managed to miss that square across from Marmoush there, but he has. He couldn't believe it either. A couple of good chances for City to find that all-important second goal and kill this tie off and go through and think about the fifth round. I think fifth round's beginning of March. Here's 1-1 everywhere except here, which isn't a good omen. Adam not happy, saying it's not good enough. Carter, thanks for tuning in, says how we're struggling to win against Salford, team in League 2. To be fair, Salford have played far better than what they played last year. Played a very good game. They'll take a lot of confidence forward. You never know, this might be the season for them that they finally get promoted. But even so, City have made hard work of it. And it, as Amadou says there, it isn't good enough. We should be creating lots of opportunities against a side that sits, in the 4th division at home. We should be able to go out and create chances, score goals, keep clean sheets. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I do not know what it is. We are inconsistent. I mean, it's performance-wise, isn't it? As I said at half-time, you look at the statistics and say City have dominated the possession, and I'm happy we dominated the possession. Pass accuracy statistics looks good. It's the shooting and scoring and how easy it is for teams to create. Even Salford sitting in the 4th division, how easy it's been for them to cause City problems. It causes me lots of problems when thinking about, if Salford City can do this, then, what are potential Champions League teams going to be able to do? You have to question about, I know Man City have made a lot of changes, but, we're getting a lot of players back from injury. It's a very strong team that's gone out there, and, we won at Anfield last weekend. To follow it up this weekend and just play like this, it's just bad. Real bad. The Marmoush goal wasn't offside. No VAR in place today, which is unfortunate. But even so, we shouldn't need VAR to get a killer 2-goal cushion against a 4th division side. You shouldn't need it. Man City should be creating opportunities and testing that keeper. What should be happening here is if this game's 1-0 and Salford have managed to keep it 1-0, then they should be looking at it and saying that Young, their keeper's pulled off a masterclass. He's pulled off 10 world-class saves. That's what we should be looking towards, and yet it hasn't. Set piece taken here by City. Gets squared across and followed in. There we go. There is the 2-goal cushion for Man City. It has to be McAdoo. Has to be. I said he looked good against Exeter. I don't think he's done all that much in this game, but he has managed to score the second goal for Man City. Oh, sorry, it's Guehi, not McAdoo. Apologies for that one. I thought it was McAdoo. My small screen. I've been telling you all game I rely on the numbers. The small screen, it's all blurry. I can't see who it is. Can't see who it is. I don't even know who played the ball across. It looked like it were Marmoush, but I don't know. It's a good ball played across. Keeper gets a hand onto it and it's followed. It's like a striker's finish there from Guehi. And it's Rayan Cherki that put the ball in. Honestly, you're starting to expose JSGC here about how reliant I am on the numbers on the back of shirts when watching the games. And because I'm watching on a small screen, I'm allowed to give you a little glimpse. I'm allowed 6 seconds. That's what I'm watching the game on. That's how small it is. My eyesight's terrible, so I have no idea. Because it's not in high definition, I have no idea who's got hold of the ball. That's why I've got an AirPod in. I'm listening to commentary in the hope that they'll give me a name. Anyway, 2-0. A potential headache over. (2-0) Manchester City. Is that Guehi's first goal for City? Say Jessica gets it. Watch it on a 55-inch telly and can't always make out who certain players are. I have it. I have a 43-inch television right in front of me when I watch it on there. It's because it's not been broadcast. It's pointless. So I have to watch on my phone to find the streams, and that's why I have AirPod in. Commentary is what I'm relying on, and commentators just said yes, he scored the second goal, and that's it. Kevin, no, it's not on telly, I'm afraid, so... That should be Man City going through, which is good news. It means we can turn our focus now to, can we hit 100 likes? 19 to go, guys. Any help towards that would be great. Space opening up, and nearly a third for Manchester City. Takes a deflection. Tijjani Reijnders it was with a shot, and goes wide. The match is stale. As we're now 14 likes away from 100, guys. Any help towards that would be much appreciated. Corner comes in. Headed clear. I mean, the screen's that bad that one of the Salford players looks like he's wearing green. And I was just about to say, why has James Trafford come forward for a corner? But he's not. The small screen and the quality of the stream, but it hasn't buffered, which is good, and it's kept me up to date, and I've been informed that I'm not all that far behind real time, which I think is a big bonus, and it does allow me to do my live watch along. It may mean that I get the odd bits of information wrong, or I've got a slight delay in saying things because I'm still trying to figure out what on earth's going on, but it does allow me to be able to do the live watch along and interact with you guys. So I am grateful from that point of view. And I do always say these 3 p.m. games on Saturday in the UK are always, as City at the post, Semenyo hits the post there, desperately unlucky. I always say these 3 p.m. games on a Saturday are my most entertaining live watch-alongs because literally anything can happen. John, who's watching at the minute, always makes reference towards Jerkmate because I once had a pop-up on a 3 p.m. thing because you get adverts popping up and one of them was for Jerkmate and I was like, what is going on? What is that? And I said it might be more entertaining than the game. We've not had any pop-ups, thankfully, today. Kevin's hoping to get laid later. That was entertaining. Reijnders gets his shot all wrong into the stands. It's been an entertaining chat. I've enjoyed it. It's been a flat game of football, but the chat's been fantastic. Metal Man, thanks for tuning in. It was an own goal for the first goal, and the second goal just scored by Marc Guehi, who have been told by Gurid that it is his first goal for Man City, which is good. Into the final 4 minutes of this game. Norwich City 2-1 up. Oh, wow, there could be a huge shock at Turf Moor. Burnley 1, Mansfield Town of the League One. Mansfield? Yeah, League One Mansfield. Could be a big shock. 2-1 up. Wow. Wow. Oh, Sheffield Wednesday bottled their 1-0 lead. They're now 2-1 behind against Millwall. Wimbledon winning against Barnsley now. Bolton have found an equaliser, a big equaliser in League One. That Mansfield one, though. Wow. Andy Man says, when's the 5th round draw? Monday, I think. Metal Man Uncle Mark coming in clutch, tapping it in. It was a well-read goal from him, to be fair. Striker's finish, as I said. Chance here for a third. Another block comes in from Salford and keeper comes out to collect. I would like to see a Semenyo goal. I'd like to see another goal. 3-0, sounds much better than 2-0. You can forgive a 3-0. You can say 3-0. Some of you guys were predicting 4-0, 4-1, and I went 5-0. So 3-0, not too far away. Jordan says Reijnders smiled more in a game than he does making correct decisions. To be fair, Reijnders smiled a lot, so it'd be difficult to make that many correct decisions. He does need to, as Jessica says, he does need to work on his game. Kevin says thought it'd be 6 or 7. It'd be nice to have been 6 or 7. I went 5. I've and ahhing between 4 and 5. I thought that Salford would do what they've done, which is tighten up. They weren't going to come out to play. It could be 3-0 and they'd continue to sit deep. Their objective was, it was demoralising for them when they lost 8-0 last season. It cost them potential promotion because it derailed the season after that. After being in tremendous form, went to the Etihad, lost 8-0 and then season derailed from there. So it was important now they're having another good season. It doesn't derail, so they come here, sit tight. They know they're probably going to lose. They want to lose by a closer margin, a much closer margin. And I thought it would have been City. I could see City scoring some goals, and I could have seen 4 or 5 goals being scored. And I'd say it's disappointing not to see us score 4 or 5 goals today. 2 goals, we go through. We're not going to complain about that, but performance-wise, not that brilliant. Kevin says, not keen on Reijnders. He needs a good couple of seasons. I think he's a real good player. Just needs a couple of seasons to adapt. I'd make judgment on Reijnders, I'd say, from after next season. If it's still not clicking for them, then maybe we can have some words. I think there's a good player there somewhere. He does show glimpses of it, and I do think over the last few weeks he's been better. Not amazing, but I think he's been better, and I think he could go even further. Anyway, we're now 9 likes into the nervous 90s in terms of likes. So 9 likes to go to 100. Any help towards that, guys, would be much appreciated. It's a good ball across from O'Reilly, well kept in. Oh, he's given a goal kick now. That was a good finish from Cherki. Kushik says, what's my opinion on Jim Ratcliffe's comments? I thought, again, I don't like bringing in politics and speaking about things, but I did find it a bit rich that comments are being made by a man who doesn't live in the country and doesn't pay tax in the country. And for someone who, wants people's taxes to pay for a new stadium for Man United and making comments about the country, I just don't think that he's in a position to make such comments about things. I thought his comments were crass. Obviously, there's lots of political different opinions about things. It's just, I just don't think it's Jim Ratcliffe's place to make them comments, to be honest. I found it ironic that he's, making comments about people coming into the country when he's left this country to go to another country because he doesn't want to pay tax and pay more money. So, as I said, politics will always... Yeah, as Julie says, it's inappropriate. He owns a football club. He wants to speak about matters. Well, he owns a football club in the country. Speak about the football club in the country and stick to that. So, yeah. It doesn't surprise me with Pep disagreeing with Ratcliffe. He's making himself more politically out there, isn't he, Pep Guardiola? Obviously a big supporter of the Catalonian independence, and recently been speaking about the atrocities that have been happening in the Middle East. Which, the more you read, the more you see, you realise the horrific things that are going on in the world, and there is some horrific things going on in the world. Which is obviously, why we rely on football so much for entertainment, to stop, have a nice little breakaway from real life realities. Right, we're through the 2 minutes of added time. The final whistle goes. It's 2-0 Man City. It's job done. We go through to the 5th round. I think we're all pretty happy that the game's come to an end, and we'll see on Monday who we do end up facing. Job done, kept a clean sheet, scored a couple of goals, and we get a week off before we next play. What I will say is that it's got to be a much better performance against Newcastle United if we want to be able to beat them next weekend. We've had a big boost today, actually, with Bruno Guimaraes confirmed out injured for the next few weeks, possibly next couple of months. So he'll be missing from that game against Newcastle for Man City next weekend, which I think is a big bonus. So I'm going to get round to doing my match reaction for you guys in the next hour for you guys to enjoy. We'll have all the regular content out for you guys over the next week or so, over to get in a couple of transfer updates for people to enjoy. Got obviously all the build up to the Newcastle game towards the end of next week, Premier League predictions coming up and everything, so we've got all that to look forward to, and as I said, hopefully all running smooth. We'll be back with another live watch along Saturday night next week, so this time in 7 days, our match against Newcastle, that game kicking off at 8 PM GMT, so I'll be live at 7:30 PM GMT, ready for that big Premier League game, so that would be much appreciated. Chad, thank you very much for the $4.99 donation, much appreciated. As I said, all donations that are coming into the stream does get reinvested back into the channel, so helping to support the future content created here, so much appreciated, Chad, and thank you for the donation before as well, Chad, and thank you, Stuart, for the donation as well before. It is much appreciated. Shout out to all my members tuning in. Thank you to everybody for interacting with me today as well. Huge, massive legends. Been a very enjoyable live watch along, and looking forward to the next one as well. Performance based and how the game was a bit boring. Yeah, it was job done. We go through. We can't complain too much. So I will see you all again real soon. So I've been JSGC. Thank you everyone for watching. I do hope everyone is safe and well. Don't forget, leave a thumbs up on the stream. We're 2 likes. We're 2 likes away from 100, guys. Any help towards that would be great. Also, don't forget as well to get your thoughts in the comments below. Do subscribe as well if you're new around here. It is free to subscribe. Social media links, they're in the description as well. If you want to go and follow me on my X, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. And as Jessica says, as Julia says, happy Valentine's Day to everybody as well. And do hope you all have a wonderful rest of your Saturday and Valentine's Day. And if you're Kevin, then hope you get lucky later on today, my friend, in going out shopping and missing the game. Rightio, guys, I'm going to end it there. Well, 1 like. Who wants to be the 100th like before we do end it? Do feel free to leave a thumbs up and I'll see. I hope so too, for your sake, Kevin. Right, take it easy, guys. Peace. Ciao for now.